Also last week we gave out service pins. One more person showed up that did not get his service pin, and it's a 30-year pin. This member has been a Lion for 30 years, and it goes to Terry Woodruff. Woo! The second thing is, it's my honor to award the Unsung Lion of the Month of July, we're not that bad off yet, to a lion who really worked hard. And we know that he worked hard because he had little burn marks all over his face from stirring hot popcorn seeds. And he has become the master popcorn cooker, apparently. And Lion Sam Wardle, would you please come up? Sam, this award was in perfect condition until my dog got a hold of it. You weren't here last week, so.
They do wear armor, but not enough.
Mark Kelcher's got an announcement.
Yes, I am delighted to have the stage manager and director of the Stageworks show, Laughter on the 23rd Floor, which opens this weekend. And I can guarantee you during lunch, the excitement over on this end of the table, excluding Keith, has been palpable because they are ready for a show. Anyway, just so you know, the hierarchy in theater, the director is the person you should fear. The stage manager is the person you should fear more. So just keep that in mind if you ever go into a production. Leslie Slape is the stage manager. She's pretty well known to us, so I won't bore you with her bio. Well, it's not boring, but and then Jenny Cheney is a well-established director around town, and she's the director of the show. A little story about Jenny. The first time I was in a show with her, I was really trying to make an impression, and we were rehearsing over at the Broadway School. And she was sitting on a bench, and she said, "Phil, come here." And I ran over trying to make a good impression, sat on the floor, and she looked at me and she said, "Your zipper's down." and of all my memories of Jenny, guess which one will last forever? Anyway, it's my pleasure to introduce Jenny Cheney and Leslie Slape.
This might also works, but you have to see.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Cheney. Phil left out one other important story. We were actually in 2 productions together, and many, many moons ago I directed a production of Much Ado About Nothing. And Phil started out playing Antonio and had an accident during the course of the production and called me up to let me know he was in the hospital with 2 blown out knees. And so hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again. I'm Jennifer Cheney. I am the director of, usually when Leslie Slape and I are on stage together, we're representing the Storytellers Network. We're both a couple of storytellers. But in this particular case, we're here representing Stageworks Northwest and promoting the opening of Neil Simon's Laughter on the 23rd Floor. Opens this Friday the 12th, plays Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 3 weeks, closes the 28th. Stageworks Northwest is at 1433 Commerce in the old Longview Cinema building. I'm going to let Leslie talk to you for just a moment, and we'll share what information comes to mind and answer questions.
Now this show is set in 1953 and it is based on Neil Simon's actual experience as a writer for Sid Caesar's Your Show of Shows. This was like one of his very first jobs. His older brother had got him the job and he was really, really shy. So in the play there's this shy young writer, and that character is called Lucas Brinkman, but he's really Neil Simon. In the show we have Max Prince, who's Sid Caesar. And we've got several other people in the play who are the writer's room. Now, being as I earned my living as a writer, I could tell you, this was all very familiar to me, to have these guys being in a room full of stacks of newspapers and magazines and ideas, and you don't want to throw anything away because there is an idea in there. And the janitor was not allowed to clean the table, not allowed to sweep the floor because you might throw away something important. And so we have a kind of a cluttered stage, but it's all clutter with a purpose. And the actors have had the greatest time looking up the real life people. I mean, there's Larry Gelbart, who created MASH. There's, what are some of the others? Hang on, I have to refer to my notes. We have Mel Tolkien, who was one of the creators of All in the Family and one of the main writers of it. There is Mel Brooks, I'm sure a name you're all familiar with. And they all were part of Sid Caesar's writing team. And so this play is kind of a Valentine to that team.
As Leslie was saying, this play is autobiographical in nature in that it is Sid Caesar's, Neil Simon's Valentine to Sid Caesar, the tribute. Most of these guys that Leslie was mentioning, well-known comedy writers that in the 50s were known as the Comedy Dream Team, they got their start as comedy writers for Sid Caesar. And so this production actually takes place behind the scenes. Now, we have been doing a whole lot of character research and studying on Sid Caesar. The man was just a comic genius, but he was able to do what he did and was who he was because of the brains and the comedy talent behind the scenes, and that's what we are portraying.
I want to encourage you guys to come to the show and don't wait for it because it's only 3 weeks. And believe me, this cast has been ready for an audience since last week. So we're opening Friday night, and we'd love to pack the house. They so deserve it. We have some, I don't know how much you go to the theater, but some of these names may be familiar to you. We have Corey Farmer. He's done a lot of shows at Center Stage. He was in Bullshot Crummond and several others. Philip Kennedy, he has been a lead player in a lot of shows with Stageworks and Center Stage, and he performs in Portland professionally. We have a brand new actor in our troupe, Laura Ressler, who was part of the board of directors and main actor and producer and director for Tillamook Community Theater. We have Michael Cheney, who is one of the best actors in town, maybe the best, playing our lead character, Max Prince. We have Ashley Stevens and Matt Olison and Ryan Gaylor, Dean Baker, and Patrick Hale.
We have for you some flyers. Oh, there's a lot of you. I don't know that I have entirely enough to go around, but we do have a supply of handouts. Please feel free to help yourself. Tickets are on sale now at www.stageworksnorthwest.org. Tickets are $15, and you can purchase them right online. Best seats are about third, fourth row center. Pack them out.
And I think I'll tell you something like what it's like behind the scenes, because what you see on stage is only a fraction of what goes on into putting on a play. So we're a real detail-oriented company, and we're creating things like 1953 magazines to stack on the floor. And when there's a telephone, when somebody picks up a telephone and dials 1 to call the secretary, you hear the phone ringing off stage. And then there's another phone ringing on stage when she calls back. And there's, oh gosh, oh my gosh, the set. The set is, we have to have a hole punched in the wall at one point, and we have to have permanent marker written on the wall at another point. And so we've had to design the set with these in mind, and the floor looks like tile. And it took us hours and hours and hours, but it's beautiful. And I'd say go just to see the whole production. because there's nothing like live theater. It's not like sitting in front of a TV.
For those of you who might seen, that our posters were done by Cody Swires. Keep an eye out for these around town. Hopefully you will see a bunch of them around town. The set was designed by my husband, Michael Cheney. Costumes were done by Lynn Jansen.
Lighting design.
I did the lighting design. I have some very wonderful ladies that have helped me put together the props. Jamie Hegstad was instrumental. There's a really, really good team of strong people behind this, and we are really, really proud to be part of this production. One thing that was kind of a neat story, one of my actors, who I jokingly say should be on Ritalin, happened to encounter a few weeks ago a judge down in the Portland area whose name is Michael Simon. Michael is the nephew of Neil Simon. And I got a note from Ryan, and he said, I want to line this up. Do you think we could have him guest appear or come in and speak? I thought, oh, sure. I didn't expect it to happen. He made good on it. And last Saturday, Michael Simon came up and sat with the company, and we interviewed him pretty much at length. He spent a couple of hours telling about firsthand stories. He was just a kid at the time, but grew up with his father, Danny Simon, and his uncle Neil Simon were, of course, close friends with Mel Tolkien and Mel Brooks and Woody Allen and some of the other writers. And he came up and just shared stories with us that were just phenomenal.
He even told us the inside story of The Odd Couple.
And a lot of the comic sketches that were real stories that happened in the writer's room that were firsthand things ended up becoming some of the sketches that you saw on your show of shows and on the Sid Caesar Hour.
I was wondering if you guys had any questions for us, because we could yatter on all day, but are you curious at all? I mean, about what it's like to be involved in a show, what it's like to, how many hours we spend working on it, anything about this show in particular?
I do have a question.
Yes, Sandy.
I've appreciated the costuming in Stageworks Northwest productions. I'm wondering, are those tailored individually for the actors? Are they obtained elsewhere? They're beautiful.
They are obtained. Our costumer does not construct. We were surprised to hear this. She doesn't sew. But she's a real good finder. And so the costumes that we have had that are put together by Lynn Jansen are either donated or found or borrowed or bought. And she's really good.
Costuming, we try always to stay true to the time period. This particular one was not as difficult. I mean, it was 1953. And so a lot of times you'll end up with take things out of our closets. A lot of times we can still find vintage pieces. Some things have to be made. We borrow a lot of stuff from what used to be Cascade Players, from the high schools, from the college. Stageworks has its own stock, but we always try to look as true to the period as possible.
Like if you saw 9 to 5, that red dress that Ashley Stevens wears in that Dream number was mine. I can't fit in it anymore, but it's in my closet, just reminding me that I could fit in it once and maybe I'll fit in it again. We also have to look up furniture that kind of fits with the 1953 look. And so that sometimes is a chore because, yeah.
You just jogged my memory. We have a Britannica set of encyclopedias. It has an atlas and library books. It's in perfect condition, good enough for a stage setting for an era. I believe it might have been printed in 1976. We want to get rid of it. That would be something that would be possible for stage setting.
You know, I think that books are always a useful thing to have on the stage. For a look, yes.
Or a den, or, you know, a study room of some sort.
Free.
And you wait 200 years.
Yes, Jim?
What about a black and white television that's small and with the rabbit ears? How'd you know? Yeah, right.
We have one in the lobby right now for people who, a lot of times the Stageworks shows, since Trailer Park, have started setting up a little lobby display so people can take pictures of themselves. And so a television was delivered yesterday. No rabbit ears, but it's an oldie, yes.
Leslie,
That's the 70s.
I'm not going to say who, but somebody I know real well had a question. That red dress you had, is that the one Dolly Parton wore?
No, hers was red and white polka dots. Ashley's was bright red, and she pulls off her other dress, and then she's there in that wow red dress. That was mine.
To tell you all a little bit about the rehearsal process. We've been in rehearsal for this production since, let's see, we auditioned in late July. And we got almost the full cast from rehearsal. I had to go in search of one actor. We rehearsed 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday nights, and because there was another production going on at Stageworks at the time, they were doing a production of the Ministry of Fairy Tale Justice that kind of fell right in the middle of the rehearsal period. We had to rehearse off-site. And so if any of you are employed out at Longview Memorial Gardens at the Steele Funeral Home, thank you very much for accommodating us. They have a wonderful hospitality room out there that is just the right dimensions of the stage. And so one of my actors, when I told him what we were doing, he said, "We're doing a comedy in a funeral home." Excellent. And so we did. We rehearsed out there for about a month before moving over to Stageworks. So.
And then our set was kind of designed to fit into the existing footprint of the Ministry of Fairy Tale Justice to speed up the transition. Yes, Hal?
I just wondered, how many bad actors do you need? Because we have a selection. Yeah, one of them speaking. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll take all we can get.
The mob scenes.
Where is this Stageworks at?
Stageworks Northwest is right next door to Wood Furnishings, across the street from Eyes on Commerce. Loving Promises on the other side. And there's a barber shop, Vision. What is it? In the old Longview Theater. Some of you saw Star Wars there. Yes?
Will they have the street finished by then?
Oh, I sure hope so. No guarantees there. What you can do is park in the back lot, you know, and walk around. And they do have, you know, some angle parking right in front of the theater on our side of the street. But I'm sure those will fill up quickly. Tickets are available online or at the door an hour before the curtain. Anything else?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Pioneer Lions, I want to present you with the art mug. I want to thank you very much for being here today.